what a relief that Waterwheel is installed. I'll tell you all about that in a few minutes. Had a short day yesterday, and I'll tell you all about the whole thing here in just a bit. But you know what? I was looking through my archives again, and I found yet another song. And I promise you, not a single person on this earth besides me has ever heard this. I'm not sure why on this one. You let me know what you think. But this one here, I think I missed the boat on this one. I think I should have had this one out. You know, I usually don't say that. It is. Oh, let me give you the title. It's called $1 Million Homes. It isn't much to look at, this old house on the hill. A white picket fence around the yard, 2 dogs, 1 car, and bills. This Monday will be 19 years that we've lived in this place. Just 1 year short of 20, and we're moving out today. The year that we were married, we scraped and we saved to buy some little cottage where our family we could raise. We found this rundown farmhouse, a white picket fence and all, and God blessed us with 3 children to run up and down its hall. But now they're tearing down our mansion to build $1 million homes. Yeah, they'll sparkle and they'll glitter on foundations made of gold. But it takes more than money, it takes more than frills to turn that $1 million house into a mansion on the hill. The memories that were made here, like the first day of school, or the first tree we planted, they are precious like jewels. The memories, they go with you, but old houses stay. Like the passing of an old friend, we are moving on today. And then they're tearing down our mansion to build $1 million homes. Yeah, they'll sparkle and they'll glitter on their foundations made of gold. But it takes more than money, and it takes more than frills to turn that $1 million house into a mansion on the hill. Yeah, it takes more than money to build a mansion on the hill. I don't know why I didn't do that song before. I forgot to tell you, too, I was lucky that I made it through that song. The bridge is literally pulling off that guitar as we speak. If you think I'm kidding, I'm not kidding. Whoops, I can't. It's backwards. It's hard to get it in the camera. See, it's lifting up. I mean, like lifting up big time. It's about to pull off. Just one more thing to fix. Like I said, that guitar was thrown together, and boy, it was thrown together fast. I don't remember how quick I put that thing together, but it was just made from all kinds of broken spare parts I had laying in the shop. They were all parts that would have been on somebody else's instrument, but they weren't good enough to go on an instrument, so I put all of them on that one. And I've really had a lot of trouble with it, honestly. But anyway, I hope you like that song. I really did like that song. It's meaningful to me because, well, I kind of combined my mom and dad's life with mine. And, you know, actually the house, the white picket fence and all that describes my mom and dad's house. And they raised 4 kids. Of course, I raised 3, so I used that 3 kids in the song. But every house that we ever lived in, every single house we ever lived in until Sue and I got married, but every house that we live in with my parents is now gone. They were all torn down to build $1 million homes. And literally the last 2 literally were $1 million homes. The last 2 houses we lived in as a child growing up. But anyway, we're going to have a short program today, I think. Let me remind you that Mountain View is coming up quick. It's June 6th through the 9th. Come down and play music with us if you can. Mountain View, Arkansas. And if you need more information on that, you can email me. Again, don't expect an immediate reply, but I'll get back to you in plenty of time. Our live show, again, has been moved up to the 23rd, so not this coming Thursday, but the following Thursday. Next week, Thursday, we'll be having our live show right here. I had a short day yesterday. I didn't get, first of all, it looked like it was going to rain all morning. So I thought, I'm going to go down there and test out my theory with the wire brush on the angle grinder, on the cordless angle grinder. And so I took it down there, and it worked pretty well, actually. I knocked off a lot of the loose stuff and, exposed more rock. Now, did I do everything I would like to do? Not really. It probably would take the needle scaler to get it really knocked off. I thought about the pressure sprayer, or what, I can't think of the right term for that now, me in words. But anyway, I thought about the sprayer, and that, I don't know, that might work. It really might, but I just decided that'd be such a mess. I'd be so soaked and wet. I just decided against that one for right now. But anyway, I knocked off enough that I'm happy. I was happy enough with it, with what I did with the angle grinder, that I went ahead and installed the wheel yesterday. And I'll show you that video here in a minute. But first, I'm going to interrupt this program to be another, a proud grandpa again. My granddaughter, Ashlyn, who is the 3rd oldest grandchild, graduated high school last night. And this girl graduated summa cum laude with a perfect 4.0 all 4 years of her high school. And she of course, is in the National Honor Society, and she had, I think, 3 different lanyards around her neck for 3 different honors. One of those was in art, and I can't remember what the other ones were in, to be perfectly honest with you. But here's a little short video on Ashlyn. And the cute part of this is at the very end, as she goes back to take her seat, the boy next to her sat down, and so you can see Ashlyn going, "Get up!" You don't make 4.0 grade point average by not following the rules.
Ashlyn Nicole Ortenau. Carol Ortiz Jimenez. Alyssa Cadence Osborne. Ava Ray Paoli. Aditya Ashutosh Parkar. Andrew Douglas Parker. Emma Marjorie Parker.
Well, I clicked on it, but I guess I didn't click it good enough, and it left a little pause there. But you could see her at the last second. She's like, "Get up." She's a rule follower. That girl especially is a rule follower. You'll never find anybody that's more of a rule follower than her. But she is one smart cookie, man. I'm seriously telling you, she is one smart girl. Very proud of her. I think she's going to and what's really ironic about it is that she's not going away to college, which you would think she would, but she's a real homebody, and so I think she's just going to go to local community college, which I think is really sad because she is really smart, really, really smart. Well, anyway, And she gets it from Grandpa, of course. Here is the video on the water wheel. I am so tickled this thing is where it is at in the process, I guess. Well, my friends, it's Monday morning, and it's pretty close to lunchtime now, but I had some help, so I decided to get this done in a hurry, and it was threatening rain. In fact, it still looks like it's going to rain. So I've got, I mounted a thick board on here to raise this up a little bit. I've got the axle mounted, and better yet, I've got the water wheel mounted. Whoops, can you see it? Spins so good. Let's back up and take a look at it. Yeah, it's a little smaller than I wish, but it's as big as I can make it. In fact, it's actually, the height of that is about 2 or 3 inches above where that water's coming out right now. So I got to raise that up about 3 inches and then bring it across. But I'm really tickled that we're that far. It is one big job when you consider all the jobs I've had to do to get to this point. You know, you got to remember, I had to move the water. The water used to be coming out over here. I had to move it to that big drain way over there, raise the water level up another 6 inches, and when I did that, I had to put in a new pipe across here. I had to repair all that damage up there. I had to put this whole retaining wall in and dig all this dirt out and put that wall in. Then I had to pour this concrete floor, then build this wall, and finally today set the wheel in place. It's a big day for me. I am tickled to get this far. Hope you've enjoyed the ride so far. We got more to come. And for the record, I have been, hesitating putting out videos on this whole process. I do have all of this videoed, and I've decided I'm just going to wait till I'm done with it before I start building, putting out the videos, because every time I put out those kinds of videos in the past, like multi-part videos, everybody kept saying, where's the next part? When's the next part? And, it was like, sometimes I couldn't get them out for a couple of weeks, and especially now, I know that would be a problem. So I decided I'm just going to wait till I get it all together, and then I'll just put out a bunch of parts right in a row, and you'll be able to see the whole process that we went through. Of course, it'll be very shortened, compared to what it actually took. Let's go through the comments and see where we're at there. Brian Byler was number one, David Tharp, and I don't think we lost any because those were the first two I saw immediately right after I turned it up live. So they're still there, so I hope we didn't lose anybody. David Tharp, I drove through Raleigh yesterday. Should have stopped by to say hi. Well, doggone, yeah, you should have, except that I wouldn't have been here probably if you came through in the afternoon, because I had to go to that graduation last night. By the way, that little clip that you saw me take of Ashlyn walking across the stage and back to her chair, I was in the really high nosebleed section of that huge arena. It's the St. Charles Arena, and it's big. And I was way up in the cheap seats. But this Google Pixel 7 Pro, I just zoomed in, and boy, it's hard to hold them steady when you're zooming in like that. And I was able to keep it fairly good for the distance and everything. And it's a little bit pixelated, but when you zoom in that close from that far away, it turned out pretty good, I thought, for what it was. Then David Thorpe says, I got stuck in the bathroom at Walmart. They had a sign in there that read, employees must wash hands. Well, I got tired of waiting and washed them myself. You are a mess. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. James Copy says, good morning from San Leon, Texas. My blue lacy puppy has the zoomies. Okay. I don't know what zoomies are, but I'll take your word for it. David Tharp, have you heard about those new corduroy pillows? They're making headlines. Uh, David, some of these are just too obvious, but that's what makes them funny. David Tharp, Taco Bell is selling fries, Burger King is selling tacos, KFC is putting Cheetos on chicken sandwiches. I knew it was a mistake to legalize marijuana. Well, I definitely agree with that last statement. Let's see, moving on down. Ed D. Morel mushrooms walks into a bar. A morel mushroom walks into a bar and orders a drink. The bartender says, "I'm sorry, we don't serve mushrooms here." The mushroom says, "Why not? I'm a fun guy." Yep. Let's see. Carolyn Fike says it looks like the RSW channel has morphed into goofy jokes. I'm kind of okay with that. I like goofy jokes. Let's see. Carolyn Fike says, wonderful song. Dottie says, I love it. Well, thanks. I honestly don't know why I haven't been doing that song. I kind of like that. It's real meaningful to me. I mean, it really is. I mean, that's a whole lot of my life right in that song right there. You just don't realize how much. Even like planting the tree and, all that stuff. Pretty cool to me. I don't know why I haven't done that. I completely forgot about it until this morning when I found it. I went, oh, I like this song. So I'm going to start doing that one a little more. You'll probably hear that one on our live show. I'll have to introduce it to the band. Jeff Purist, anybody seen Jeff Daniels on the Kelly? Yeah, I did. I actually saw that. That was really good. It was an awesome song. I started to put that as a link in here for you guys to check it out. But you should check it out. Jeff Daniels on the Kelly Clarkson show. He did write. They said he's written over 450 songs or something like that. I don't know if I got that number right, but like a number like that. And man, that was a good one. The one that he wrote, it really was, and he played it well too. He's a good picker. Ben Boyd, your song sounds a little like Randy Travis, 1982. I like it. Yeah, I think it kind of does. I think you're right. But you know what? There ain't but 2 bluegrass songs ever written. One of them was Boil Them Cabbage Down, and the other one wasn't. So, you can only do so much. Let's see. D.E., a song that couldn't speak truer words. Well, thank you. Love the song, Kathy Volz. Bill Rhodes, did you put that guitar together with hot glue? Well, not hot glue. I think I used hide glue, unfortunately. No, honestly, I don't know what I used on that one, to be honest with you. Now I say it is very possible that I did glue it together, because that was about the time I was experimenting with hide glue. It is possible that I glued it together with hide glue. I'm not saying I did. I just want you to understand that it is a possibility, because the bridge is pulling off of it, and I don't think the bridge would pull off of it had I used Type On. So I'm fairly sure I used something else. It was before YouTube when I built that. So there's no telling what I did. I didn't have all my standards together at that time before YouTube. Once I got into YouTube, well, for one thing, the viewers kind of keep you straightened out on your standards. You kind of have to follow pretty strict standards. And so I straightened up my act after I got on YouTube. And but not that it was that different. It was pretty similar, but I learned how to deal with it, I guess you'd say, is probably the best way to explain it. Charles Salkowitz, good day all from the Florida Sun Coast. Thumbs up on the song, Jerry. Well, thank you. Bruce Ducker, I hate to say this looks like the wheel is backwards. No, because it's an overshot. The water goes over the top and falls down the other side. And I was very careful to make sure I got that right. Dottie Hildebrand, love the Waterwheel. Lester Cunningham, wow, such a talented man you are. Thank you. Gary Cooper, looks to me like the wheel is mounted backwards. Yeah. Yeah, if you were going to shoot it on the backside, yeah, you would be right. But I'm shooting it over the top. That's to me, that's the only way a water wheel looks like a water wheel is when you got an overshot where the water's coming across the top of the water wheel and falls down on the water wheel. And that's the way it's built. Let's see. John Warren. Yeah, he thinks it's backwards too. Spiral Flash, great song. Hugh O'Connor, outside wall looks so much better now, and once the water wheel has mellowed its color, and there'll be a green moss grow on it and all kinds of stuff. So I'm good with it the way it is. I want it to look old and rustic looking anyway, and I can use that as my excuse. Zappa says, congratulations to Ashlyn. Maybe she can upgrade the local college. Yeah, maybe she can. Seriously, that girl's smart. I mean, seriously telling you. I mean, I got good grades in school, but I didn't get 4.0 all 4 years. And I mean, that girl didn't get a 3.9. She got 4.0 every single year. Blackjack guitar, John Warren. Let's see, I would agree. Okay, moving on down, looking for question marks. What goes black, white, black, white, black? None rolling down a hill? Something like that. The spoken song, man walks into a 21 and over bar. The guy at the door asks, hey, do you have an ID? The man says, about what? An idea about what? I guess idea. A nun stuck in a revolving door. I was thinking of a nun rolling down a hill. It used to be black and white and red, and black and white and red, black and white and red, something like that. It was a nun rolling down a hill with something bloody. I don't remember what it was now, but anyway, I don't know. Probably was an inappropriate joke good thing I don't remember it. Ronald Todd, looks like hide glue on that bridge. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I'm not just saying that. It really wouldn't surprise me if that's what I used. I went through a time there where I was trying out hide glue and liquid hide glue, and it wouldn't surprise me. Glenn Woods, guy in Kentucky found 700 gold and silver coins on his farm. Wow. Wouldn't that be something? I don't even want to get rich. That ain't it. But I would love to find just like an old gold coin, or even just an old regular coin like the 1820s, 30s, 40s, something like that. I mean, to me, that's old. Our farm dates back, or the papers on the farm date back to the 1850s. So that's why the Civil War thing is pretty cool, that it's, that was in the 1860s. But anyway, it would just be cool to find something like that. I don't care about getting rich. That ain't the issue. Just something old and really historic. That's what I'm looking to find. I wish I could. I'd just make my day. You wouldn't know how happy I'd be. Chipwood, hear about the family that went camping every weekend. Their trips were really intense. Yep. From the Civil War. Oh, Glenn Woods. And that the stuff they found? Wow. That's cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind finding a strong box full of coins like that. That would be awesome. With the different caves that we're uncovering, and I think there could possibly be yet another one. You never know. It could have been. Well, actually, the cave that I discovered, the big cave that I discovered, it had rocks in front of it. I mean, big boulders, the size of a VW, not quite that big. Well, one of them is that big, and the other one was about half that big. And the one that was half that big, it was all the Bobcat could do to move it. The bigger one, I can't move it. And that it's still kind of there, kind of off to the side now. We've kind of dug in from around it to go into the cave. It's still sitting there pretty much. But anyway, I mean, I kind of thought that they just naturally fell down, but you never know. Somebody may have closed it off on purpose. And, it's so silted in that we can't get to the floor of the cave. I mean, seriously, you can't. So, I don't know. There could be something in there. You just never know. I mean, it sounds pretty incredible. It sounds, pretty wishful thinking. But then on the other hand, it was closed off. So you just don't know. You never know. Tom Armstrong, small generator for the water wheel for light. Well, I'm going to hook that up once I get everything, done. I'm going to play with my generator that I built. Like I said, I can take that generator, spin it by hand like that, and light a 100-watt light bulb. So it's a generator, man. I mean, it works. So if any generator is ever going to work, this sucker ought to work. And I built it out of a washing machine motor. And it wasn't my original idea or anything. I just want to be clear. It's a Fisher Pascal, I think. Is that the right word? That's a name brand washing machine. You guys know better about it than I do, or Fisher Pascal or something like that. Anyway, there's a lot of information on building a generator out of those motors on YouTube. And that's, my brother found one somewhere and gave it to me, and so I built it. Let's see. Steve McCure, he does have a question mark at the end. Good morning, Mr. Rosa. Is the semi-chrome polish that you use on guitar bodies safe for koa wood? Well, you don't put the semi-chrome itself on bare wood, but if you're talking about, it's got a finish on it. It's a koa guitar with a finish on it. Sure, yeah, no problem at all, as long as there's a finish. But you don't put the semi-chrome polish itself on bare wood. And I wouldn't really recommend that you put the Renaissance wax on bare wood, unless you just don't want to finish it. If you don't want to finish it, then the Renaissance wax would be fine. But don't think you're going to get to put a finish on it later, because you're not. Because once you put wax on wood, you're not going to put a finish on it. It's not going to stick. It'd just be a nightmare and a half, and then some. Ben Boyd, congrats on your granddaughter. I got a 4.0 once, too. Scored 4% on a biology test. Had to retake the summer school. Yeah, I'm closer to that side of the scale. Jim Cunningham, about how much should a neck reset on a Gibson Hummingbird Pro cost? Boy, that it can run the gamut on that. I usually estimate them at around 5 hours work for me. First of all, I'm pretty fast. 5 hours at 100, 125 an hour, though, adds up pretty quick. A lot of people will. I just think that if you get it done for that kind of money, if they're any good and they do it for that kind of money, you're doing okay. But it could cost a whole lot more than that. I don't know. It's just hard to say. Really hard to say. And hopefully you can find somebody that's good. Carolyn Fike, did you ever metal detect in your cave? I tried it a little bit and I didn't hit anything. I haven't taken these new really good metal detectors in there, I don't think. Maybe I should, I did around the entrance. I just kind of scanned around the entrance, but you got to remember that's all been dug out with the Bobcat and who knows what all, and I didn't find anything in the entrance area. Yeah, and then Shiny Cage is asking that same thing. Gary Hayden, gardening is cutting into my life viewing of the vlog. I'm having to catch up later in the day. Well, you got to cut that out. That's all there is to that. Besides that, gardening ain't nothing but compost to grow potatoes. So just do that. Potatoes don't take much work. That's all I use out of a garden. It would just be compost to grow potatoes. And that is 100% true, whether you believe it or not. That's 100% true, not 99.9. John Warren, perhaps Ashlyn and Mary could go off to college together. That'd be kind of cool. Yeah, it would be cool. Mary's got this basketball scholarship going up to Sedalia, Missouri. Ashland's a real, almost germaphobe. She reminds me of Howard Hughes a little bit. It's kind of scary. She's really kind of withdrawn. She's a good kid. She's funny and all that, but she just is not an outside type kid around people and stuff. I mean, she's kind of withdrawn. But I don't know. I just hope she gets out of that. She doesn't like to drive. She just kind of likes to be to herself. I'm a little like that myself. I have to admit. I don't really. I'm not shy like in public or anything like that. She's more like a germaphobe type thing. I mean, like, she won't hardly eat out because she's just afraid of everything. I mean, I don't know. It's just, that part's sad, but she's really smart. And I guess that's why she's so smart. She just does her studies because she stays in, I don't know. It takes all kinds, But I don't see her going off to school. I wish she would, because she's so darn smart. She could change the world. I mean, that girl is just brilliant. She's just brilliant. She really is. Glenn Woods, it's on PBS. He sold them at auction for $3 million. Wow. Crazy, isn't it? I don't care about getting rich like that. I truly don't. I could give a rip whether I make 5 cents off of it. But I just want to find something really old like that. It'd just be so cool. And I mean, if it's a box of coins, I'm not going to complain about it. But on the other hand, that's not my purpose. It's just to find something old and unique. Chuck Heidbreder, you could use the Waterwheel to lift croquet balls to the top of the building and let them roll down all kinds of ramps around the outside. Yeah, I guess I could. Let's see. Moving on down. Tom Armstrong, could the caves be Indian burial sites because of the boulders in front of the opening? Well, I don't think so. I don't think that's what the purpose was. I actually do think, the common sense side of me says the boulder just fell off of the face and fell down and closed the cave off. That's what I think happened. But you don't know that, It's been closed a very long time, I think. I actually think it's been closed for sure hundreds of years, if not thousands of years. So I don't know. I did find an Indian burial on my farm, though. I've talked about that before. I've shown video on that. But, I was up there. I was searching for food plots. I found this one area where there was no rock, and it's the only place on the farm where there's no rock. Well, when I, plowed it the first year, I think I found an arrowhead or something, it wasn't no big deal. Well, the second year I thought I'd look a little bit, and I found maybe a dozen. Well, the third year I thought, I'm going to look. I started finding hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pieces, and I'm still finding pieces up there. And most of them are broken pieces. And again, I've told you my theory. It's that they're out in the woods hunting, and they take a spear and they chuck it at a rabbit and they break the tip off. Well, when they get back to camp, they cut the base of it off of their spear, and they make a new arrowhead or spear point, and they put it on their spear, at camp. So all those broken bases are at camp, and we just find hundreds of them. So they were at that camp a long time. And anyway, so one day, another year or so later, I was plowing that field up for food plots. And, of course, I search it each time for arrowheads and artifacts and things. Well, I found this big flat rock I plowed up. And my daughter, Rochelle, the one with the 2 boys in Ohio, she was riding by on a 4-wheeler at that moment. And this was pre-boys, by the way. They weren't here yet. And she was riding by, and I said to her, I flagged her down. I said, come here. And I said, see that flat rock right there? I said, you're not going to believe this, but there's a Native American buried under that rock. And she's going, yeah, right, Dad, sure, whatever. She's like I was an idiot. I said, I'm not kidding you. I said, there's a Native American buried under that rock. And she's going, oh, well, how do you know that? I said, because I know that rock came out of that creek down that hill, and it didn't walk up here, and they carried it up here for a purpose, and I haven't found any rock up here other than arrowheads and flint and things like that they were using to make arrowheads. I said, that big flat rock had a purpose. So all we did was we just dug down, just that deep, 6 inches deep, and sure enough, we uncovered all those rock that were laid up perfectly just to cover the grave, Now, we didn't dig the grave. We just uncovered the rock on top of the grave. Well, then I registered it with the state of Missouri, and I've told this story before. And so the state of Missouri called me back after I registered it. I filled out a big 12-page report and gave them all kinds of information. And they called me back and they said, "Sir, we don't know your name. Are you a professional archaeologist?" I think is what they said. And I said, "No." And they said, "Well, something like you should be. You've given us better information than our professionals give us. We really wanted to call and just say thank you because you just did a wonderful job." And I said, "Well, thank you." And so anyway, they said, "But now if I was you, I would cover that back up." And I said, "Why would I want to cover it up?" And they go, "Because somebody will sneak in and dig it up." I thought, out here in the middle of nowhere? I said, "Nah, that won't happen." I just kind of shrugged it off like that won't happen. Well, Sunday afternoon, this was many years ago, but on a Sunday afternoon, I was showing it to my neighbor who did a lot of welding art, and he made a lot of Native American art out with his welder, and his wife was a regular artist, painting and thing, and she did a lot of Native American art. So they were over there. They wanted to see this Native American grave. So it was on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm not exaggerating when I tell you, you could tell the storm was coming. I mean, this is one of those where it wasn't no doubt about it. The storm was coming, and it was going to be a big storm, and you could tell. So we were showing it real quick. The wind was starting to pick up, and we said, well, we better get out of here before it starts pouring down rain, so we took off. Well, then, now that was on a Sunday. Well, on a Wednesday, I'm up in my now this was before I moved my shop down to where it is presently. The shop was in the original location up there, which is now the rental retreat. So I was up in my shop, up in the rental retreat up there working, and Sue comes up the back stairs, and I hear her coming in. She says, "Did you dig that grave?" And because she was mad. I said, "No, I didn't dig that grave. I wouldn't do that." She's going, "Well, somebody did." I said, "Oh, you gotta be kidding me." So we go back there, and I inspect. Now, keep in mind, it had rained from Sunday through that Wednesday. I mean, it was like Wednesday afternoon, and it was still raining on part of the day Wednesday. So it never stopped raining that whole time. So I go back there, and there were no tracks of any kind in the dirt. In fact, you could tell that nobody had walked into the mud or anything like that. So they dug it before it rained. In fact, they wouldn't have been able to dig it in all that mud. It just would have been a mess. They dug it before the rain. And so, in other words, they were watching us leave. And when we left, they ran down there and dug it really quick. I'm telling you, you don't know how mad I was. I'm seriously telling you, it's really a good thing I didn't catch them. If I'd have caught them, I guarantee you they'd have been buried back there in that cave, and there'd have been a big boulder sealing it off. Trust me. I guarantee I'd have been in jail over that one. Anyway, and I'm not exaggerating. You think I'm probably exaggerating. I couldn't talk straight for 3 days. I was so mad. It took me like 3 days to get over it, where I could even just function. I was just livid, man. But it's just such a disrespectful thing. I mean, would you go into a cemetery and dig up a grave? Trust me, you don't want me to catch you if you do. Anyway, let's see. And Jim says, "Would you be interested in doing that neck reset on that Gibson?" Jim, I'm trying to refuse that kind of work, buddy. I'd like to do it for you, but honestly, I just don't want to get back into it. And if I make an exception for you, then, I'd have to make an exception for everybody else, because you know how that is. It just swells on you. I've said since the day I retired, the only people I'm going to work on are close friends and relatives, and that's pretty much it. So I'm sorry. I hate to turn people down. I mean, like, that's the worst thing for me. I can't even tell you how bad that is. I hate to turn anybody down. I really do. But on the other hand, I just can't do it. Gary Cooper says, Waterwheel looks great. Steve Mercure, no rocks in Missouri farmland. I don't believe it. I grew up in Marshfield. Yeah, well, actually, here, it's exceptionally rocky here. I mean, like, I know it's pretty rocky over most all southern Missouri, but here, boy, I'm seriously telling you, I can't believe we've got the one spot that there's really no rock there. That's the only spot on the farm. Every place else, you try to stick a knife or a ice pick in the ground, you're going to hit a pebble or a rock or something. You can't hardly do it. Moving on down, let's see. MFC, it would have been nice to go to university, but I am the kind of person who has to study for a blood test. Well done for granddaughters. And yes, the Waterwheel is top stuff. Thanks. David Tharp, is it and I can't see this whole thing because it's the last comment. Okay, it just moved. Is it every second and fourth Tuesday at Dickey's? No, it's the first and third. Are you trying to confuse me? It's the first and third Tuesdays of every month. We're at Dickey's Barbecue Pit in Rolla, Missouri. So come join us if you can. We start at about 6 and go to about 8:30. Dottie Hildebrand, didn't you say Jim Cunningham was your best friend? Well, he's not a bad friend. I just can't accept him, guys. I would like to, but I can't. I just can't. Jim Cunningham says, I understand. Well, I know you do, and I also understand you're asking. I really do. And I'd like to help you out. I really would. But anyway, I got to say no, because if I don't say no, it'll just open the floodgates again. And then I'm just, stuck right back where I was. And I can't afford to go back there. Dollar Rice, I would like to clean up my banjo. It's dusty and I need advice. It's the chrome and such that needs help. Any ideas? Yeah, there's a couple of 2 or 3 ideas. First of all, the semi-chrome polish really polishes up chrome and things like that really well. Now, if some of the chrome is badly decayed, one thing that kind of makes them look better is to rub it down with aluminum foil, believe it or not. Like if there's a little bit almost like rust and stuff, you can wad up some aluminum foil and rub it on there and rub it really good, and it'll improve the looks. It's not going to make it look like it's re-chromed, but it'll improve the looks. But honestly, the semi-chrome polish is really good for polishing it up if it's just dull looking. Like if it's got like I can't think of the words, me and words. Not corrosion exactly, but that, I don't know, oxide. Like if it's got like an oxide coating above it, over the top of it like that, semi-chrome polish will make it look like brand new again. So one of those 2 options, and if anybody else has other options, feel free to say so. It looks like that's it at the end here, guys. It's 8:44. I think I'm going to cut it off right there, and I don't know what I'm going to do today. I'm thinking about just taking the day off from working down there and maybe clean up the shop or maybe do paperwork or whatever. I think I'm just going to do something a little easier than the physical work today. Might make a boring vlog for tomorrow, but maybe we'll find something else to talk about, or maybe I'll find another song to debut. Thank you all for being so kind to me. I appreciate it. We will see you tomorrow with something else.